When I was 8 years old, I stuck 3 chopsticks into a bowl of rice, mimicking the way my grandpa performed rituals. After completing my little imitation of his offering, something strange happened. Despite the closed windows and doors, a gust of wind swept through the room, and I collapsed, convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Words I didn't recognize spilled out. "You little boy dare challenge me for food." My parents rushed me to the hospital, but all the tests showed nothing more than a fever. However, my grandpa, a fortune teller by trade, knew better. He said I had lost my soul and likely angered some unclean spirit. That very night, my grandpa took me to a crossroads to perform a ritual to call my soul back. I don't remember much of the ceremony, only that he tied black cords around my neck, wrists, and ankles. The next day, I was miraculously healed, but I had lost all memory of the event. Even forgetting my own family members, I only remember my grandpa saying, "The spirit we called wasn't your soul, it was someone else's." From that day on, my life took a bizarre turn. I went from being a failing student to the town's genius. My grandpa eventually passed down all his knowledge of feng shui and fortune-telling to me. On my 18th birthday, he pulled me aside with a serious look on his face and said, "James, you might hate me one day, but I've done all I can for you. There's a letter under your pillow. Open it 3 days from now and follow its instructions." 3 days later, I opened the letter. It said, "James, by the time you read this, I'll be gone forever. I'm sorry for what happened during that soul-calling ritual years ago. I treated you as my own grandson and tried to understand your fate, but my skills weren't enough. I've passed on everything I know to you in the hope that you can one day figure it out yourself." The letter also had 3 instructions. Leave the town and head south. You'll know where to stay when a woman dressed in black speaks to you. Only use the fortune-telling skills I've taught you when you meet a woman with the last name Green. Never offer a reading to anyone with the last name Smith. After packing my things, I left town and headed south, stopping at every bus station, waiting for someone dressed in black to talk to me. After 3 days, I arrived in a small town called Newville. As I stepped out of the bus station, a woman in black approached and asked, "Hey, do you need a place to stay?" Recognizing the sign from my grandpa's letter, I rented a room in that town. A few days passed, and the woman with the last name Green had not appeared yet. With only $200 left, I took a job at a furniture store, earning $2,500 a month with commissions. I spent my days working and my nights waiting for the mysterious woman to arrive. About 2 weeks later, I had gotten to know Newville well. It was surrounded by mountains, and its feng shui was called 9 dragons returning to snow. However, 3 of the dragons were dead, which explained the town's economic struggles and unfinished construction projects. One day, as I was walking through town, I heard a familiar voice behind me. "James, is that really you?" It was Emily Johnson, a high school friend who was always kind and beautiful. She was thrilled to see me, but I felt a bit awkward. After some catching up, she insisted on treating me to some street food. As we were talking, a flashy Porsche pulled up nearby, and a stunning woman stepped out. Emily noticed I was distracted and said, "That's Lydia Green. She's the most popular girl at my university, and everyone wants to date her." Green. Could it be the woman my grandpa's letter mentioned? Without hesitation, I approached her. "Miss Green, your family has been dealing with a serious illness, haven't they?" Her face turned pale, and she asked, "How do you know?" "Who are you?" "I can help," I said confidently, though I had no idea what I was dealing with. Lydia hesitated, but agreed to take me to her house. Her father, Mr. Green, had been diagnosed with liver cancer after a routine checkup a month ago. Despite treatment from several specialists, his condition rapidly worsened, from early-stage cancer to terminal within weeks. The family was desperate, and Mr. Green had even started having strange dreams of an old man cursing at him. I quickly assessed the house, which was a beautiful mansion with seemingly perfect feng shui. However, I sensed something off inside the room where Mr. Green was being treated. I performed a quick ritual using items I asked the family to gather: a pair of scissors, some pig's blood, and red thread. After finishing, Mr. Green vomited black blood, which alarmed everyone. But soon after, he woke up, weak but conscious. I spoke with Mr. Green and learned that the old man in his dream was likely an ancestor who had been disturbed. We decided to visit the family grave to investigate. When we arrived, Everything seemed normal until we dug a few feet into the ground and uncovered a strange three-legged toad. It was a sign that someone had set a deadly feng shui curse on the family, one that would ensure the Greens would have no male heirs. I knew how to lift the curse, and after performing a final ritual, the toad hopped away, disappearing into the distance. The curse was broken, but the question remained: who had placed it? The Greens were grateful, offering me a large sum of money, but I couldn't shake the feeling that whoever had cast the curse wasn't done yet. And sure enough, I had a feeling they would soon come looking for me.